Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the recognizable or memorable keyboard sections from the world of rock music. Number 20, Kids, MGMT. The prevalence of keyboards and synthesizers within the pop music landscape isn't limited solely to the 70s and 80s. Kids from MGMT proved that cool musical licks of this sort could thrive within late millennial indie charts.
You were a child, crawling on your knees toward it.
The tune is catchier than kindergarten sneezes, thanks to an insistent driving beat and one outstanding synth hook. That bebop of Ben Goldwasser's synthesizer is instantly recognizable and practically dares the audience to dance. He even takes a righteous solo around the 4-minute mark that's very welcomed indeed. MGMT sounds timeless on this track, with Kids existing within a wonderful conceptual vacuum between 80s art pop and contemporary electronica. Number 19, November Rain, Guns N' Roses. There have been a lot of big rock star type personalities that have come and gone within the lineups of Guns N' Roses.
When I look into your eyes, I can see love restrained.
Slash, Bumblefoot, and Buckethead all come to mind, but keyboardist Dizzy Reed has remained a GNR constant since 1990. His work with the group has always been good, and November Rain could have easily been a shining moment for Reed in the studio.
Nothing lasts forever, and we both know hearts can change.
However, it's songwriter and singer Axl Rose who handles the dramatic piano flourishes around the 7-minute mark, while Reed delivers backing choral vocals. This takes nothing away from the support Reed has given GNR, but Axl definitely deserves all the flowers for composing this 90s rock classic. Number 18, Roundabout. Yes, the Fragile album from Yes isn't only the group's finest musical hour, it's also one of the finest examples of 70s prog rock. Full stop.
I'll be the roundabout. The words will make you out and out.
Each member puts on a clinic here, but keyboard legend Rick Wakeman went above and beyond with regard to his array of equipment. Hammond C3 organ, Mini Moog synthesizer, and glorious Mellotron sounds all make appearances here, adding texture to Roundabout's heady trip. Wakeman also takes a solo on that aforementioned Hammond, demonstratively showcasing his influence upon just about every prog keyboardist to emerge in his wake. Number 17, Runaway, Del Shannon. It isn't a foregone conclusion that every golden oldie fan familiar with Del Shannon's Runaway also stuck around long enough to check out his 1968 experimental psych recordings.
As I walk along, I wonder what went wrong with our love.
That said, perhaps it's also fair to say that the decision to include a brief but memorable electric piano solo spoke to Shannon's progressive songwriting aspirations. The lick played by keyboardist Max Crook on his own invention, the Musitron, is a standout section of the song. In fact, the solo is so memorable that it stands on its own alongside Shannon's iconic falsetto singing, and this was no mean feat. Number 16, Gypsy, Uriah Heep. Britain's Uriah Heep came roaring onto the international rock scene with this debut single, one that served as a harbinger for heavy metal. Gypsy opens up with Ken Hensley's electrified organ and never looks back, crunching and flattening all with one hell of a steamroller riff.
She told me, hold on.
The single and album versions differ in that the one taken from Heap's iconic Very Heavy, Very Humble debut features extended solo sections.
Both are incredible, of course, but the real ones know that the studio version's extended organ freakouts offer a view into Uriah Heep's monolithic 70s sound. Number 15, Trampled Underfoot, Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin's members brought a diverse set of musical influences. This helped Zepp's sound to flow through rivers of rock, folk, and even funk. Trampled Underfoot is a great example of the latter, a tune co-written by bassist John Paul Jones, who also handles the clavinet electric piano. Jazzy, funky, and soulful fusion permeates Trampled Underfoot, a fun tune influenced by Stevie Wonder's Superstition. This inspiration is more than obvious, but Trampled Underfoot is infectious from the first note to the last, demonstrating just how much range this legendary band had. Number 14. The House of the Rising Sun, The Animals. It wasn't only the 70s and 80s that had a lock on important keyboard sounds.
There is a house in New Orleans.
Eric Burdon and The Animals covered this folk standard in 1964 and immediately lent their own stamp to the tune. Their House of the Rising Sun is notable for Alan Price's spooky organ sound, a long solo run that adds tons of atmosphere. The proto-psychedelic sound of The Animals is prevalent here, while Price's playing feels both mournful and melancholic. Overall, however, The House of the Rising Sun is a group effort, a timeless classic rock tune where every member feels important. Number 13, Magic Man, Heart. Radio edits have, historically speaking, never been the place for extended instrumental jams.
Late nights so long ago when I was not so strong, you know.
This is generally why they shorten these sections for commercial airplay. The version of Magic Man on Heart's debut album, Dreamboat Annie, features even longer guitar soloing, and Mini Moog's synth performances really highlight the tune's 70s origins. Some detractors may claim that these analog synth flourishes date the song, but we couldn't disagree more. In fact, we dare to argue that the album version is the definitive one, a smoking cut that deserves investigation if you've only ever heard the radio version. Number 12, Fanfare for the Common Man, Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Keith Emerson was no stranger to complex keyboard gymnastics. Case in point, ELP's Benny the Bouncer.
What hell of a fight!
The musician would outdo himself, however, on this reworking of a piece from the early 40s. The track was originally composed by Aaron Copland in 1942, but was reworked by the band for their 1977 opus, Works Volume 1, with Emerson taking center stage on the keyboard. Emerson and the group would transpose Copland's piece into a shuffling, bluesy number to huge success, resulting in a fan-favorite ELP track, which followed the band throughout their career. Number 11, Love Will Tear Us Apart, Joy Division. The keyboard melody of this entry may be comparatively minimalistic, but it's no less powerful or influential. Love Will Tear Us Apart is arguably the most enduring track from British post-punk band Joy Division's tragically brief career. Guitarist Bernard Sumner takes to the keyboards and echoes Peter Hook's riffy, melodic bass line while adding sweeps and swells of his own to make an already dramatic song even more so. It may not be a grand, complex part, but the keyboard's cold, haunting tone is perfectly suited to the song and is a perfect match for Ian Curtis's pained, vulnerable vocals. Number 10, Subdivisions, Rush. This song from Canadian rock legends Rush goes for the synthesizer glory right from the get-go, with a solo performance from singer and bassist Geddy Lee. Subdivisions is taken from the band's 1982 album Signals, which itself signaled a turning point of sorts for the progressive rock outfit. The track showcased a streamlined and melodic sensibility new to the Rush sound, anchored by Lee's forward approach to using the synthesizer as a lead instrument. Indeed, the guitar work of Alex Lifeson and Neil Peart's drumming is almost restrained against the stirring and emotional melody line delivered by Lee in this massively influential Rush song. Number 9, Separate Ways, Worlds Apart, Journey. With its iconic opening keyboard melody, Separate Ways grabs your attention right from the start. Journey's Jonathan Cain possesses a striking tone to his chosen instrument, as his driving lick is quickly bolstered by guitarist Neil Sean's heavy staccato riffing. The keyboards then take a supporting role in Separate Ways as the song weaves its tale of a lonely lover promising devotion to his former flame, despite their separation.
Someday love will find you, break those chains that bind you.
Cain's keyboards return for haunting effect near the end of Sean's guitar solo, then lead into a collaboration with singer Steve Perry to bring it all home for the song's epic finale.
You know I still love you.
Number 8, Foreplay, Long Time, Boston. A Hammond M3 organ is the star of this early Boston classic, serving as one of the most memorable tracks from this arena rock band's multi-platinum debut. It's Foreplay, which serves as the most keyboard-centric section of the 1-2 combo, an instrumental track that hinges upon the quick arpeggio melody lines for primary effect. The song then segues into Long Time, a more traditional Boston track that utilizes the keyboards as a more understated but mood-setting accompaniment to Tom Scholz's layered guitar symphonies and Brad Delp's powerful vocals.
It's been such a long
Place them together, and you have a tasty sandwich of keyboard goodness performed in that bombastic 70s style. Number 7. The Final Countdown, Europe. It's perhaps one of the most famous keyboard parts of the 1980s, and one that was actually written by Europe's lead singer Joey Tempest. The Final Countdown is super slick radio-friendly glam metal from a group that proved their stuff way back during the earlier part of the decade. Early Europe may be heavier, speedier stuff, but the Final Countdown was tailor-made for stadium rockin'.
It's the final countdown.
The song's entire structure is based around Tempest's insanely memorable Korg keyboard lick, a decision at which the rest of Europe initially balked. It was, however, via Tempest's insistence that the Final Countdown was born, and 80s metal history was forged.
It's the final countdown.
Number 6. Space Divest, Dream Theater. The Kevin Moore era of Dream Theater was truly something special for fans of this progressive metal powerhouse. Space Divest might be one of the most emotional sounding tunes of this era, and proof that the keyboard doesn't necessarily need to sound clinical or distant.
Love is an act of blood, I'm bleeding in the shape of a heart.
The song is impressively experimental, utilizing spoken word and movie samples in a manner that Moore would further develop later in his career.
So they say that in like Houston or something. You say it's 180 degrees, but it's a dry. In Houston, they say that? Oh.
The keys are 100% the star of the show, but vocalist James LaBrie is also a big part of the song's success. Meanwhile, the instrumental coda featuring the entire band just sends shivers down our spines every time. Number 5. Jump, Van Halen. The Van Halen of 1984 was a band going through some serious changes.
I get up, and nothing gets me down.
Not only were tensions between the band and vocalist David Lee Roth becoming worse and worse, but the hard rock band's sound was evolving into one that was increasingly incorporating keyboards, as opposed to the riff and two-hand tapped guitar work that defined their early work.
Can't you see me standing here? I got my back against the record machine.
Jump summed up this new sound, propelling guitarist Eddie Van Halen's commercially friendly and catchy keyboard melodies into the Billboard charts. It's a driving and infectious ditty indeed, and fans responded in droves, making Jump a #1 smash in countries around the world.
Might as well jump. Go ahead, jump.
Number 4. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, Pink Floyd. Talk about epic. Shine On You Crazy Diamond is a 9-part, 25-minute opus from Pink Floyd on their 1975 concept album, Wish You Were Here.
Remember when you were young?
Split into 2 chunks which bookend the album, the song was composed as a spiritual ode to former member Syd Barrett and serves as a fine example of Floyd at their most emotional and atmospheric. Particular attention should be paid to keyboardist Richard Wright, whose adept sense at creating mood makes it easy for lead guitarist David Gilmour to work his magic over the top. It's simply a match made in musical heaven.
Come on, you painter, you piper, you person.
Number 3, Highway Star, Deep Purple. Moving on to something substantially less restrained, Deep Purple songs like Burn and Highway Star just might epitomize absolute pedal-to-the-metal perfection.
Nobody gonna take my car, we're gonna race it to the ground.
Much of Highway Star's success can be attributed to the band's keyboardist, John Lord, and his insane runs on the Hammond organ. Lord trades off classically inspired solos against his Purple bandmate, Ritchie Blackmore. Fiery runs that meet Blackmore note for note. Both musicians drum up dizzying technical flourishes, right on through the song's crash and burn finale. Lord and Blackmore would go on to co-perform on the comparatively mid-paced Perfect Strangers in 1984. But it was Highway Star that sealed the deal for many fans some 12 years prior. Number 2, Light My Fire, The Doors. It's a classic rock mainstay that is recognizable almost immediately, thanks to keyboardist Ray Manzarek and his intense musical skills. Manzarek was so talented with his chosen instrument that the Doors rarely ever used a bassist when performing live, with the keyboardist filling that role via a Fender Rhodes piano bass.
The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire.
It's the Vox Continental organ here, however, that provides the song's most memorable attributes, from the unending middle solo to the playful riff that hooks us in from the get-go. Manzarek also flirts with the melody while supporting Robbie Krieger's inquisitive and quasi-flamenco guitar solo, before driving hard back into one of rock's most memorable musical moments.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Baba O'Riley, The Who. Pete Townsend and The Who are no strangers to composing rousing, epic keyboard melodies, as evidenced by their iconic 1971 track, Won't Get Fooled Again. It was the opening track to that same album, Who's Next, which would go on to cement the band as certifiable rock gods.
Out here in the fields, I found my meals.
Baba O'Riley is famous for the repetitive, layered synthesizer tracks that served as an undercurrent for Townsend's windmill guitar riffs and frontman Roger Daltrey's soaring vocals.
I don't need to be forgiven.
The driving synth lines are then further expanded upon during the Townsend-sung bridge, as sparse melodic notes are used to accentuate the song's overt, dramatic atmosphere. The result? A classic rock masterpiece that still retains all of its original power. Do you feel that piano, synth, or organ flourishes add a lot to rock music? Or could you do without them? Let us know in the comments.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.